Hey, how you doing? Sunday night chat. It's actually Sunday morning. uh, wasn't sure I was going to do a video today. It's Super Bowl Sunday. I wanted to get this out to you guys early because I'm actually going to watch the Super Bowl this year. I don't think I watched it last year. I stopped watching the NFL actually many years ago. When all the crazy stuff started happening, it was actually for me. It goes all the way back to free agency. you know, because when I was a kid, you grew up watching football and people stayed with teams, and then the rules protecting the quarterback, which makes sense, but you know, it just started getting. You know what I think a big part of it was the athletes were getting bigger and stronger, and the equipment was getting better, and then people started hitting in different ways. The whole head thing was a problem, and I understand that. Um, but there were so many changes to the game that I just didn't appreciate over time, and I just started trusting. Like, of course, my dad was a big thing. He was, he didn't believe anything with the games. He's like, that's a fix. He's like, look, it only takes one or two players on a team to fix the game, and you can look back. I'm not going to get into it right now, but there's plenty of times when somebody dropped the ball when they shouldn't have been dropping the ball. You know what I'm saying? So there was always a thing there, something dubious going on, and that always bothered me. Brett Favre playing for the Minnesota Vikings, that was a problem. Of course, then the whole Kaepernick thing happened, and the BLM stuff, and the politics, and the woke nonsense, and everything else. There's a black national anthem or something. I might have that wrong. I don't know because I don't watch, but I hear about it, and I just set. Plus, I mean, many years ago, I realized it's just a waste of time. I used to sit here. It's funny because I was in better shape at the time. Because if I'm sitting here watching other people move around, I move around. So for years, when I watched the NFL on Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays, I was working out because I couldn't just sit here and eat food or something. Getting fat. I'm fat shaming again. Uh, Watching other people be active. I can't do that. There's just something in my DNA. It just doesn't work. I got to get up and lift weights. So I was always more fit when I was watching football. So that's a problem. Personal issues, my own personal issues. We'll just put that on the pile of personal issues you've already deciphered, that you've already seen me that I possess, like frivolous spending of my own money. And I have no money. We're going to get into that. So yeah, then I got into this habit for a while where I was just saying to myself, I'll at least watch the Super Bowl. And then I stopped doing that too because I have no invested interest in it because I didn't watch these teams get to the point where I know who the people are. I don't know who anybody is anymore that's playing, so I don't care. And yeah, but this Super Bowl Sunday is different for a couple of reasons. The president's going to be there. That's going to be interesting. I think that's going to bring an interesting sort of different dimension to the game that we haven't seen before. And I hope it's going to be safe. I mean, I have a concern about that. Uh, that's a thing. I mean, think about that one. Terrorists would love that one. What a coup. But also, Elon Musk is spending $40 million of his own money on the ads to reveal to you all of the waste that's been going on in this country through our federal government, which has been spending your tax dollars on crazy nonsense, which really doesn't even less than 10% on average. We're finding out of the money, in some cases, tens of millions of dollars, which have added up to billions, hundreds of billions, maybe $1 trillion or more that go to these different programs. Usually about 10% or less actually goes to fund the program. The rest of the money goes to the people who set up the programs. And then, of course, we have this whole issue with the what's going on with media and the millions and millions of dollars every year that have gone to media outlets and like over 6,200 journalists worldwide um, to promote a particular message. And you guys have seen those memes before where, you've got a couple of news hosts reading off of a script, and then the screen splits, and then there's four of them, same exact words, and then the screen splits, and it goes on and on and on to hundreds of journalists all over saying the exact same scripted words. The USAID, what they're doing here is they're revealing this horrible truth, which is scary, which they're not saying the acronym that is really responsible for this. That's that's what that was. That's who that was. And they've been using fake news, fake media around the world to take down governments and all these things, and then they started using it on us. Now, I've been getting a little bit of pushback on this, and not much. A couple people that are just they're not believing it. They're having a hard time accepting this reality, but you're going to have no choice. One guy was saying to me, you shouldn't be accepting the latest news is coming out. You got to wait. Well, that's what I've been telling you for years here about what's been going on in media. But what's coming out now is the truth. This is the truth. So a lot of people are going to have to do some soul searching and reevaluating of what you think your reality is. It's kind of crazy to me that I've seen through this for so long. I'm not the only one. A lot of you here have seen through it. We've been like, trying to make other people in our lives understand that they're being lied to. But when you see it on all these different, from all these different media sources, you think that that's reality. I've been saying this for a long time. It's not. And now it's coming out. So this is a big deal. So there's going to be a huge change in our culture worldwide because of these revelations. And it's a new world. And it's kind of glorious, but I'm nervous at the same time right now. And look, this has been a very short period of time since Trump has taken office. And believe me, we're going to get on the energy and they'll get on other things, and, the economy will get better and prices will come down and things are going to get better. But it's smart for them to go after what they're going after right now, because if they were trying to just go after, deal with the economy and energy and everything else, and they weren't addressing this issue of this money funding. Here's the crazy thing. Our tax dollars are funding these messages that are designed to break down our system and divide us. I'm trying not to be angry, and then I'm kind of emotional about it. Like, I feel myself welling up inside over this because what they've been doing to us purposefully. It's crazy. And this is all coming out, and it's a real thing. So anyhow, let's move on. I did take some notes because on another emotional issue, somebody made a comment for me to bring up this guy, Desert Drifter. I might have watched one of his videos. I went to his channel this morning. I'm like, wow, this guy is great. There's a bunch of these people. Desert Drifter, the Trek Planner, of course, Sarah, Aqua Digger guy. I love what these guys do. I just can't watch all their content because I'm busy. I want to know what's going on in the world, and those are escapes, which is great. I think it's the reason why a lot of us are on YouTube and all that. But right now, I've been kind of paying attention to these other issues that are more important to me personally. But they're all doing things that I want to do. Is what I set the van up for. And I wish I could just, if I had a normal job where I made money every week and I knew what my money was, and I could budget myself, and I could, have money to pay the bills, and I could go out on weekends or whatever and afford the gas money to do these trips, the food and everything else. I'm not in that position. And I know everybody here is watching going, well, if you bought less watches, maybe you could do that. I don't spend a lot of money on the watches, believe me. You know, what I spend on one watch isn't going to cover a trip. You know what I'm saying? So I would like to be doing that stuff. And I get a little bit demoralized when I see how well people like, this guy, Desert Drifter, does. It's not that I would feel like I'm trying to compete. Obviously, I would do it in my own style. This is a very nice guy. He picks things up and he talks about it. He ponders what was going on with the ancient peoples. And I think about those things and he puts the thing back down. And people really like that. And that's cool. I would be doing it totally different. But he's a nice guy and he does great work and people love him. And there's outpouring of affection for the guy. And it makes me feel for him. I'm empathetic towards his situation. I watched the video. I guess it's been a week ago now. His wife came on and they made this heartfelt video, and it's a terrible situation. So I'm saying, maybe let's put some well wishes and positive thoughts towards her and him, and hopefully he'll pull out of it. Apparently, there was a car accident in Flagstaff. I know Flagstaff. My brother lives in Williams. I've been to Flagstaff a lot. I like eating at that Bigfoot barbecue place, which is in this like weird mall, like this underground mall in Flagstaff. The food is phenomenal. It's like a clothing store it's behind. You got to like hunt the place out. It's awesome. Um, yeah, it's a terrible thing. I don't know anything else other than what I saw on YouTube. So I hope he's getting better. It's a thing. I understand it being a content creator. People watch these people. You people watch me, and you develop. And if I know I've been pushing the boundaries lately, I've been caught up kind of in this, and I don't like it. Um, a bit of a "I told you so" mindset, just because of it's so frustrating and aggravating. All the revelations that have been coming out. All that's happening right now with our government is an audit. That's all it is. It's an audit. Which don't you think that should have been done a long time ago? All the people screaming about it are the people that are going to lose money. That's why they're screaming about it. I don't want to stay on that topic here, but I'm just saying uh, we need an audit, and they're gonna. Hey, man, they're gonna audit the Pentagon. You know what I'm saying? It's not just this right now. It's everything. And I watched some stuff with Pete Hegseth talking about it and what he's talking to the Pentagon about, and like he's welcoming it, and he's like, "This is a new day," and this is all good. We have to. It's not just about America. It's about the whole world. If we get our crap back on track, be more honest with the American people, and keep our own money and put it into things that make more sense. We could be in a position here pretty soon where we don't have to pay income tax anymore. That could happen. Forget about the tariff issue. We might be able to do it just by not pissing away all this money to people who are promoting division between us. That alone. So to get back to Desert Drifter here, I mean, it's again, as I was saying, I get how people feel because I know a lot of you guys really like me, and that's why you're here and you're watching. And I see the outpouring of support and emotion for this guy, and I think to myself, gee whiz, I hope nothing happens to me. I wouldn't want you people to feel bad if something happened to me, or God forbid, when Sarah has her health issues, and the outpouring of concern for that. It's a beautiful thing. As human beings, we do care about the people that we devote some of our time to listen to them speak. And I guess I'm part of that. I don't just this. It's just coming to my mind. Where I don't think about it in those terms. I'm so wrapped up in my own little world of trying to survive. It looks like I'm doing well all the time, I suppose. I'm not putting videos out where I talk about the stuff I'm doing because I'm bragging or anything. I'm just a weird dude that's into stuff. And so it might make it seem like everything's happy and everything because I got the time to make my own watch band. That's not the case. Um, I just, you know, I'm not going to sit here and complain all the time about how hard it is to get by financially and everything in this day and age. So keeping in mind too, I'm beat up physically and it's hard. I can't put in those kind of hours like I used to. I was, to get on to like what's happening with me, the House of Arizona and everything else. I'm living in LA and um, I'm in a holding pattern a bit because I'm trying to work this VA thing and which should happen, but now that's being pushed back. That's going to be months before that's kind of I know what's going on with that and anything that's going to come in from that, and I can't depend on that. I was hoping, I had some good hopes, but we know that this is something's going on here with them, and I was kind of thinking like, okay, if this is going to come through, then I can make these plans. But now I know it's not happening right now. It most likely will happen. Again, it's going to be pushed back. So now it's okay. I got to focus back on doing this work for people. Because the truth is, at my age and where I'm at with what I do for a living, it's just so physical that I don't know that I can keep doing it. I'm kind of hoping I could figure something out here. And again, with this Desert Drifter guy and the Trek Planner guy and Sarah and all that stuff and the whole purpose of building the van. All you guys do is see me talking on my phone. When I'm either sitting in the truck or sitting right here in the apartment doing stuff. And I've been trying to keep you entertained and it's fun for me. And I'm speaking my mind on different issues and people like that. It's not really, I would rather be doing what that guy does. I'd rather be out there adventuring and I think that that would be entertaining for you guys because, again, I have a certain take on things and I'm a different type of human being. And I like being goofy and all those things. So I don't know, man. I'm all over the place right now. I'll tell you this, and it's kind of crazy, but this is where I'm going to end up heading. And this is what I was hoping to do with moving to Arizona and keeping this channel going and growing is I'm an artist. That's what I do. And for a long time, ever since social media, MySpace was a thing. And then, of course, when I got on Facebook and I created the Mike Z Design Facebook page and all that. But when I first got on MySpace, I've told the story before, this was whenever that was, late 90s, early 2000s. I can't really remember. Um, I remember I was hanging out with my buddies riding motorcycles, and the Cretans got this clubhouse going on the roof of a building in downtown, near downtown LA, like the brewery area. And the what it was that the roller derby girls, the Derby dolls, I was a big part of that. I ran their security for the first season, and that building that they used had a roof parking lot and there was metal storage units up there that the Cretans rented, and they turned into clubhouse. And it was the best thing. We had big parties up there. It was awesome. And when I was on the computer with the social media, I was riding with these guys, hanging out with these people, partying with them, but nobody knew what I really did. And when I started posting pictures of what I make and the furniture I do and that sort of thing, it was there was a change in the way people viewed me and spoke to me, and there was a lot of accolades being thrown my way and respect. And I was like, well, okay, thanks. Like it was really, it was like an overnight change. As soon as I started posting that stuff, where there was like a weird reverence and whatnot. And then, of course, as time progressed with social media, including then Instagram eventually, and I had Facebook first. Excuse me. It was every time I posted a picture of something that I made, people wanted to buy it from me. Didn't matter what it was, and I made that happen. It's funny how the world works. I'm going to go back here a little bit. There's a thing about human beings, and it's the reason why this happened with USAID and the media and everything else. People can be manipulated. People are easy. You can make people love you or hate you. It's not hard. I don't want to play that game. And when I was a kid, I was I worked on the boardwalk every summer. I was a carny, basically. And it's the really crazy thing is I was 15 and I was working skill games. And these are games that they're, my bosses told me nobody wins. Like you can't let anybody win. So there's all these ways to do it. And so they train you to be this kind of manipulative person, but I learned a way to have fun with the people. Like I let them know that they're not winning, they're spending their money, but I was entertaining as a kid, very funny and gregarious and all these things, and you learn this power. When you got that little thing in front of you and you're just barking at people, hey, one win, who's going to be my next lucky winner, and you're barking and calling people in, and it's not like that anymore. But back then, you couldn't walk down the boardwalk without hearing all these people doing this thing, and you were called an agent, and you were a good agent if you were had people at your stand all day long and you're raking in the dough for your boss. And after that summer, I kept doing it, and I even worked the kiddie rides for a little bit. I did the bumper cars there on Funtown Pier. But I worked all these other skill games. I worked wheels. I worked the cigarette game with the ball on the color and the last summer there, I managed the Sunglass Menagerie. This is all in Seaside Park on Funtown Pier. And when I did the store is when it hit me, because it's a great story how I got that job and everything. I've told all this before, so I don't need to get all into it here. But it's a store. So we had racks of really cheap sunglasses, and we had them in the windows. People would come in, they want to buy a cheap pair of sunglasses. But then in the cases, we had all the high-end sunglasses, And our most expensive pair was the Porsche Carreras. I remember they were $320. And $320 in 1985 is like, what is that? It's like $1,200 today, So, I don't know if that's accurate, but it seems right the way things are. My point is I've told this before. I don't want to get too into the weeds on it, but people come in wanting to spend a few dollars, and then I'd start talking to them about sunglasses and their eye health and everything else, and then the next thing you know, I was selling them a pair of $320 Porsche Carreras, and I did that all the time. And it turned a gear in my brain that scared me. It frightened me because it was like a weird power, and I didn't want to have anything to do with it, which is probably a mistake, maybe. That's a God-given thing, man. But I didn't feel good because I felt like I was trying to convince people to do something. I mean, they wanted to spend the money, they had it, all of that. The people who bought the Porsche Carrera sunglasses, it wasn't like now they couldn't pay their rent. You know what I'm saying? So I shouldn't feel bad about it. But there's something about it at that time got into my brain, and it freaked me out, and I didn't want to do it. If I can go back and kick myself in the head, I would. But it got me to a point where years later I found myself in this little basement teaching myself how to build furniture, because I wanted to, if you want to give me money, I want to produce something that makes you happy. I want to put something out there that you want. And that's what I ended up developing, which makes me feel good. It's a thing. It's capitalism at its purest form, in a way. Like it's, just even trade. It's an agreement. It's, hey, I like what you did there. I like that. Can I purchase that from you? I'll give you this much money. And I go, okay. Which also gets me to another point, because I don't know if it's the same guy, but recently there's been a few things, and I get a little aggravated in the comments sometimes because you're asking me questions under a video that have nothing to do with the video, but I get it. And I've been getting asked a lot about how I'm able to get the work and do the work that I do without having a contractor's license, and I don't have the insurance or anything either, and how I navigate that, around how I get around all that. I'm not trying to get around that. It never comes up because I'm not out there trying to be a contractor. I could be, I've touched on this years ago too, but I'll briefly tell you. I could be a general contractor if I wanted to be. It used to be easier 20, 30 years ago. 30 years, excuse me, plus. Because when I came out here, I was kind of doing that a little bit. And I've worked for contracting companies. They just can't pay me enough. And at some point, I think it was in the early 2000s, excuse me, I called one of those schools so that you could go to a school here and, and then which will then get you to take a contractor's license and you pay all these fees. And it used to be in the old days, you can get a general contractor license, you could do everything. But California, I called the place and the guy got back to me and he asked me if I could prove what I do. And I don't remember how it all went, but I sent him links to what I did. I probably had social media at that time. Might have the website up. I don't recall. But the point is that he got back to me and we talked on the phone. He goes, dude, you don't have to go to school. We'll just, you got all this, decades of experience. All you have to do is come here and pay the money. And at that time, it started coming up where, he said you have to buy a license for everything though. So if you want to be a framer, that's a specific license. If you want to be a trim carpenter, that's a specific license. So they were breaking it down to the individual jobs that it takes to, construct a house, let's say. And it was just a way for the state to make money. And if you pay for those fees, and let's say you go to that school, it's good, you learn the proper codes and everything, but that doesn't mean you're good at what you do. You know what I mean? So there's plenty of contractors out there who are licensed and bonded, and they have to be because they're doing crappy work. So not all of them, obviously. And I have to say, I think the work's gotten better. And I've never knocked immigrants, by the way, as far as there's immigrants and there's migrants, all right? There's another thing I have to touch on because I was talking to this recently on the whole thing with the ICE raids and all that and how they're just going after the criminals. And some of you believe that they're not because of what you're watching, which is being paid for with your tax dollars to lie to you, to convince you of untruths. Touched on this a few moments ago. So, but here's the thing about that. I know people personally and have known and have worked with and been on the job or in people's homes talking to people who are here illegally, and I love them. They're nice people. And when you talk to them about this subject, they don't want the criminals here either. More often than not, they're the ones that are preyed upon in their communities by the illegal migrants that are, come in here. Illegal migrants, illegal aliens. The people have come here illegally with bad intentions, which is not all of them. Nobody's saying it's all of them. It's actually probably a small fraction of them. But that small fraction, because there's millions of these people here illegally, that number could be 100,000 people when you really break it all down. So maybe more. But the point is that people who are here from other places, whether they've come legally or not, right? Whatever color skin they are. I don't care if they're, Asian people from China or Korea or wherever. Doesn't matter. It's this whole thing. We're going to get away from this. This thing I like about Trump is he doesn't talk about race. He talks about Americans as a whole. That encompasses everybody. It's all you need to say. Whenever people start talking about race, it's a divisional thing. It gets people upset. But the point is, even the people that are here illegally, that are good human beings, right, that just want to do well for themselves, they want ICE to take these criminals out of the country too. You know what I'm saying? Because the criminals don't care if you're legal or not, if they can prey upon you, rape you, murder you, rob from you, beat you. They're going to do it. They're not asking you first if you're a legal citizen. Like, it's not like they're leaving their own kinds of people alone. So I just want to throw that out there. And again, on the job, I told the job about the story about the time when the guy walked up to me and accused me of, saying the only reason I make more money than them is because I'm white. And I never mentioned the kind of money I was making. And somebody took that the wrong way, trying to say that I was saying that Latinos, Mexicans, whatever, don't do good work. That's not true. Some of them are very good at what they do. And I've helped make a lot of them better at what they do now. But when I first moved out here, it was blowing my mind because I would go into homes or apartments right here where work had just been done and it was horrible. Horrible. If I showed you the way they tile my shower and the stuff that some of these guys have done here, it's been bad. But lately, I've noticed the quality of the work is better. So it's natural. You come here, it's monkey see, monkey do. Here's I'm going to show you how to do this, do it, and you're doing it. But if you keep doing it, eventually you should get better at it. It's like punk rock, right? A punk rock band. It's very hard for them to consistently exist as a punk rock band. At least it used to be, because in the old days they get better. You know, if you play that guitar, okay, well, if you do that for 10 years, it's going you're going to get better at it. You know what I mean? So, it's just the way it goes. So I'm not, if it sounds like I'm trying to belittle people because of their race or something, I'm not. I keep pointing this out. My father was an immigrant. He didn't speak any English. I grew up with these stories. I know what it is. I grew up watching my father help out other immigrants. I helped, So that's not where I'm coming from. I'm just agitated sometimes and more animated because of what I'm seeing, because of the lies that we've been told and what was allowed to happen. I mean, did you guys see what happened with the 60-minute interview with Kamala Harris? And by the way, are you aware that Trump's been winning, tens of millions of dollars in lawsuits from different news agencies? Many of these agencies have taken money from the USAID. This is a big deal, man. It's a huge scandal. And it's mind-blowing to me that some of you aren't accepting it as reality yet. It maybe a good thing that'll happen is I hope most of these news organizations just disappear, because the only way most of them are able to survive is because of the money that was funneled into them, from the through USAID. I think what they did was they realized, like, oh, we have that organization, that set up the USAID to spend all this money and do all these covert operations on the civilian mind around the world to manipulate their version of reality, what they perceive as reality, through this propaganda. It's pretty wild, and it's always been known. This is nothing new. Like, another guy got on my case about, well, we always knew that the government was wasting money on all this stuff. Yeah, no kidding. So then why are you upset that there's being an audit right now? You should be happy that this is all coming out. And we should all be happy. We should all be dancing in the streets. Now, of course, we'll have to wait and see what happens, like what they end up doing with the money that they're saving now. But I believe that it's all going to be good. Look, we'll see how it goes. Some of you have been conditioned to hate Trump and not trust him and all this because the programming in your mind about him was purposefully done, again, through this program that was funding this. And it was all scripted messages. You would hear the same negative stuff about Trump on all these different channels or through these different publications that were all scripted from people in our government. And these people were being paid to spread the propaganda. I can't make it any simpler for you. That's what's been going on. So, listen, enjoy the Super Bowl. I'm watching it for the ads specifically this year, and to see how this is going to work with the president being there. I wonder what the security is going to be like and everything. I wonder who else is going to be there and who won't be for security purposes. And I am, I'm just looking at my notes here because I wrote a few things down. I hit everything. And again, on the Desert Drifter guy, man, best wishes to him and his wife and all of his subscribers who are, just distraught over this. I understand it. Uh, People, as I was touching on earlier, we kind of become a family here, and I get it. I think I'm a little different from everybody else because I live alone. I've been alone for so long. I don't think in terms of a collective, and maybe I should, but I just don't. I'm just wired differently. But I understand how everybody feels about them, and it's to see the emotion coming from other YouTube creators that are fans of another YouTube creator and they're putting that out there. That's really heartfelt. And to be getting messages from people that are not creators, um, asking me to address the situation, that just tells you how much the guy is loved. And it does drive home how important I got it. Maybe I should be taking this more seriously with you guys. Um, yeah, there's a lot going through my brain right now on this, and but I just want to remind you that I love you guys, man. If it wasn't for every one of you that have subscribed, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't still be here, and it does mean a lot. You motivate me to keep doing it because of the positive comments. So I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm not gonna go anywhere, and hopefully I'll get it together and figure out a way to get some more coin coming in where I could take more breaks and do some more adventures. Cause I'd much rather not be here. Oh, there is something happening. My friend Corinne's going to be back in town again this year at the end of the month. She'll be here for about a week or more. So that'll be fun. And we've been doing a lot of talking. We kind of understand each other. But it's a funny thing. I love Corinne. She loves me. It's an interesting situation. She lives in Montreal. I met her through the Gridiron Rebels when I was part of that group, motorcycle riders, back around 2003, 4, 5 in that range. And she came out here, and we've been friends ever since. And she's a really incredible human being. I mean, you know, yeah, was a kickboxing instructor, and she's got 3 master's degrees, and she speaks 3 languages, and she's an educator at a private school up there in Montreal, and she's been published and yeah, intellectually, astute and well above average intellect. So many of you are questioning, why does she like you? We talk about science and aliens and all kinds of crazy stuff, but it gets really in depth on a heady level. That's good. So anyhow, she's going to be in town, and last time she was here last year, I wanted to take her out to the Saline Valley, but the North Pass was snowed in. So this year, there's a chance I might go there with her. I'm not sure yet because I would like to take her to, we couldn't go to the house last year in Arizona because my sister was still living in that house. It was a deal I made with her to stay there while she was looking for her own place. But I might just take her to the house in Arizona. It might be better to do that. And it'd be fun to pal around with her, take her up on the mountain there, Car Canyon, go to Tombstone, go to Bisbee, see some other people. So the point is at the end of this month into the beginning of next month, maybe that's just what we'll do. We'll keep that simple. Because I did that whole video on my views on the Saline Valley. I just put a new thumbnail on that video. So I hope you guys check that out. Maybe I'll link it here at the end of the video. But I made the comment. I was talking about how that place is, because I wanted to do that video because the Saline Warm Springs Mafia will come down hard on some YouTubers about spreading the word, even though everybody knows about it. It's not a secret. Anybody can find out about it. Anybody who's in the hot springs and starts Googling or, internet searching for it, they're going to find it. And there's going to be ways to get there, and there's public groups on it and everything else. So my video was about, if you're going to go, what to be aware of. And don't be a jerk. Don't play your music all night long really loud, and don't be obnoxious, and understand it's a sausage fest. That's what it is. There's a bunch of penis just swinging around everywhere you go. And so I made the joke comment that if I'm going to go again, I'm bringing my own boobies with me. And let me tell you, if I was to bring Corinne, that's enough boobies for everybody. You'll get it when you see her. I couldn't do this whole video with a little chuckle for you. I mean, if it starts raining, I could just get up underneath her there. It's pretty wild. I love Corinne. She's one of my favorite people. So at the end of this month, then I guess you'll see some of that, and it'll be fun. You guys will enjoy that. You guys have seen there's been trips with her before where we went to Giant Rock. Look that one up. Maybe I'll remember. I'll try to put links to stuff I've done with her. I'll do that in the description of this video. You guys can go back and look at some of those videos. She's awesome, and I'm looking forward to this trip with her. It'll get me out of my thing. It's always bad timing at this time of year because work has slowed down so much, and right now I'm doing stuff at the house where I have my workshop, and I don't charge those people a lot of money, so I'm not doing great, you know what I mean, financially. So when she comes into town at this time of year, it's because she's got a break from school. It's a spring break, right? So I'm not my best version of me when I'm financially nervous. And so that's just the thing. If it's just me, it's not a big deal. You wouldn't know. You might see it in my demeanor from time to time. But I always figure it out. Stuff always comes in. And there's stuff I can do. And there's a project waiting for me to get to. But I just want to get these things done at the house for these people because they've been waiting for a long time because I've been so busy the last several years. And yeah. Anyhow, that's what's happening. Let's end the video. You guys enjoy the Super Bowl. I hope you enjoyed this video, a little update and well wishes for this guy and everything else. And I think it'll be interesting this year with the Super Bowl. That's it. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Have fun with your friends and family today. Enjoy it. I mean, the Super Bowl. I think it might be the most watched sporting event in our country, maybe the world. I don't know. I guess World Cup soccer's probably might top it. I don't know. It's an American thing to do. I love that aspect of it. Again, I grew up with it. I gave you the reason why I stopped watching. And that's it for now. So enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for being here. I can't express how much I appreciate you truly being here. Honestly. So with that, I'll let you guys go. Be nice to one another. I'll catch you in the next one.